So aloha and welcome, Lahaina, and everyone else watching online. We're going to begin our meeting. Just a few reminders tonight before we offer up pule, as is our tradition, particularly since we're borrowing space from a school with keiki that always use it before us or in between our use. But please silence your cell phones. If you want to have a conversation, please have a conversation outside, just so everyone else inside can listen to whatever the information. We have a full agenda tonight, lots of information. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Kaliko. There's a bit of a glare. I'm looking for Kaliko. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay, let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to gather again. We thank you for our families represented here this evening. We thank you for those that are here to present to our community that continues to be resilient. We know that tonight may not be the night for all the answers, but we make room for answers. And so we thank you for the partnerships. We don't waste 3 years for nothing, and we recognize that relationships help us to create more. And so tonight, let tonight's meeting be productive for those online, those in person. And we know that, that as we continue to stay unified, there is a commanded blessing upon this town. So we thank you for our leaders. Thank you for taking us home safely. And we look forward to a greater Lahaina. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Mahalo, Kaliko. We like to check in with everyone and remind you, use the QR code, take care of yourself. It's so important that you be able to take care of yourself so that we can take care of others. We say this to our team and we say this to you as our ohana. So please use the resources available. All of the slides at each of our meetings are posted on the mauirecovers.org website. And of course, if you cannot see anything from back of the room, please take a picture. Nobody feels offended. And then zoom in or look at the website as we go along or on Facebook as we zoom in. So mauirecovers.org. Congratulations to the parents who survived their seniors. Not just Lahaina Luna, but every graduating class of 2026, whether you're keiki making it through the class of 26 preschool, or you're in advanced education, making your first trek into the real world from college or university. So congratulations. It's a big deal for Ohana, and we're so proud of everybody. So class of 26. Oh boy, how about a hand for all of them? On June 4th, this is tomorrow at 6 o'clock at the Lahaina Veterans Hall, is a meeting called Namaka o Lahaina. This is, and you can use a QR code, but this is a community-led safety initiative, kind of like Neighborhood Watch. This was born out of the community discussion and concerns to look out for each other and your neighborhoods. So they provided us this information. You can take a picture, find it on our website on the slide deck. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock at the Lahaina Veterans Hall, come see your neighbors, get updates, get involved, work with your neighborhood to help create a safer Lahaina, one neighborhood at a time. So this is the program for you. And then if you sign up in their program through the QR code, you get a free solar sensor light for your property. I don't know what that looks like. I'm just reading the bottom, but you get one if you scan the QR code. All right. Something exciting is coming. You're going to hear more about it in July. This is 3 days for Lahaina residents to come together and enjoy each other's company. We heard from the group, The Healing Journey, which is a part of the Economic Recovery Commission. Their efforts are to provide a time, a way, an opportunity so that you have some place to go to and do something wonderful together. So the Lahaina Homecoming is just that. It's a gathering for residents. Come on down. When you hear the details, it's going to be inside a part of Lahaina town. They're still working out the details where, but looks like it's going to be fun because there's Kaibigan ang Lahaina Palenque night. Am I saying that right? Then you got Ho'olaulea, you got a whole bunch of things. You can talk story with your neighbors. It'll be like one big Lahaina reunion. keep these dates handy. Just come any one of those days. So they're doing a bang-up job. They are going to fly Lahaina families home from off-island with the help of the airlines, with Hawaiian Airlines. So more information will be coming in July. You can go to lahainahomecoming.com and learn a little more as we progress and develop it. But this is going to be a big one, a terrific 3 days of coming together and enjoying each other's company. So please keep that in mind. Kuhinia Maui, believe it or not, we are approaching our anniversary. And for Kuhinia Maui this year on August 8th, we wanted to let you know ahead of time that the Civic Center area is going to be used. It falls on the Saturday of primary election day. So they need the area. They need all of the parking. So what we're doing this year is a very changed kind of day. We still and have always wanted to offer a time, a place, a way for people to be with each other. If you want to be with each other, so please come on that day. It's going to be one day. We're going to give more details in July, but we wanted to let everybody know that instead of the paddle out and instead of the Civic Center gathering, it's going to be at the Methodist Church. And we're going to have all these things for survivors to come to. You can get lomi lomi massage, just come and take care of yourself, have a day, to be with other people, totally up to you. And then as usual in the evening, just at sunset, we will pay tribute to those that we lost. We should always do that, and we always will. And that is an open invitation for anyone to also come and be among each other and share a meal together. So this year's one is going to feel a little different from years gone by, but it is still a chance to be with each other. So please keep that in mind, and yes, we are doing something this year. So tonight, lots of stuff going on. So we got Office of Recovery, we've got Parks and Recreation are here tonight. Remember them? They came the last time, talked about that upcoming community center. So they brought with them their boards. They had one open house. They got input. After tonight's meeting and hearing their information, go up there, go add your input so that they can keep collecting more and more before they start to develop their final plans. So we're going to hear from them in an update. Our friends from the Department of Water Supply, or friend, one guy, the Deputy Director Kimo, will be up here sharing about a project that's a big step moving forward for Lahaina Town on infrastructure. Neighborhood by neighborhood, area by area, there are going to be some things to pay attention to. So you're going to hear from them for the coming months, those updates, but tonight is the introduction of it on what they're up to. And then we invited the State Department of Transportation because they have so much stuff going on. We heard from a number of the community, that they wanted to hear more, like what is it, what's coming up. So Tai Fukuroku will be here, or is here tonight to share. And then from the Department of EV Resources, we have Director Kumu Kaponoai Molitao and his team, who will be talking extensively more about the Lahaina Royal Complex, the restoration of something so significant. It's going to be a remarkable change back to what Lele, if you start to learn that word, Lahaina's old name, of what Lele was once and what Moku'ula and the Royal Complex will bring to the spirit of Lahaina. So these are exciting times for us as we move forward in the restoration as well as the rebuilding of Lahaina. We'll be here next month, as usual. Mayor is off island, so unable to be here tonight. He sends his aloha. He'll be back next month for July. I'm going to turn this over to Councilmember Paulton. Here's your Lahaina council member, of West Maui.
Aloha mai kakou. For the council side updates today in committee, we moved out of committee a state mandated ordinance that would allow up to 2 ADUs on each residentially zoned lot. So it'll go through first and second reading, but pretty much we're mandated, we have to pass that by the end of this year because the state told us we had to and we're below the state. It is subject to if you have enough water, if you're hooked up to county sewer, if you're on a like cesspool, you will have to convert to septic. If you're on a septic, you have to have enough space for the bedrooms that you want to create. But that's coming down at least by the end of the year, that any residential lot would be allowing 2 ADUs subject to all the infrastructure requirements. ADU is an accessory dwelling unit. And anything under like 7,500 square feet, your accessory dwelling unit could be up to 720 square feet. We had a presentation this afternoon about sea level rise. And in the context of this year's El Nino, which is like a super El Nino, the best advice is to clear any drainage ways close to your houses, reduce any fuel loads you can, and if you can, fortify your houses, you know, like hurricane clips and like that. It might be a good idea. The last time they seen an El Nino predicted like this was late 1800s. And not mean to scare you, but just to prepare you. This Friday will be our second and final reading of the budget for fiscal year 27, so that's kind of a big deal. If you want to tune in, there's a lot of good stuff that the council was able to add on top of what the mayor put in. I believe it's also first reading for the H3, H4 zoning. I did receive a lot of testimony against it, but I did vote for the H3, H4 zoning. And part of the reasons are, you know, there's not any one reason that I voted for Bill 9. There's more than one reason. Part of it was we need the housing for local families to clean up some of the nonconformities, and also over tourism here in Lahaina and a little bit to some extent in South Maui. The H3, H4 zoning, the reason I voted for that is because to not create zoning for the properties that many of us agree do belong in hotel zoning would further continue or increase nonconformities, which when you're working in the planning department, you want the properties to fit into a category. And many of the minimum requirements and things like that are different for what is currently zoned apartment 1 and 2 versus hotel 1, hotel 2, or hotel motel. So to take a property and try to fit it into a category that it doesn't fit is kind of like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. We have done in the past where we do conditions of zoning for the uses. We could say like, oh, all these 20 or 30 properties can't have these conditions that are allowed in H1, H2, or HM. But from what I've seen, as time goes on and new people get hired in the planning department, they'll forget which of the ones can and cannot. And then there'll be a mistake made, and then the county gets sued. So just trying to follow the logical, cleanest way to do it. I'll be around after if you want to discuss more. I know it's a really controversial thing. Other things that I have heard as to the reason why not is it'll make it easier for some condos or complexes that we don't want to convert. It's still not an easy process. You have to apply for a change in zoning. It might be easier if the council initiates it, but not necessarily. You still have to go through the planning commission. You still have to go to the committee, first and second reading. And so it's not a guarantee way to stop properties from doing a change in zoning. Another reason that I had heard was it should be able to stand on its own independent of Bill 9, but that's not the reality that we're dealing with. Bill 9 exists, and there are properties that fall under the Minatoya list that should be hotels. They operate like hotels. I think myself and Lahaina Strong agree on a number of properties that operate as hotels, and we just need to put them into the right zoning. That doesn't mean open the door and let them all go. I think there's 104 properties total that we know of that are currently on the Minatoya list, And it's not to say we should take all 104 properties and put them into H3, H4, but there's more details if you want to talk story after. I'm open.
Thanks, Councilmember. And thank you, Mahina, for getting us started. I'm John. I think I know most of you by now, but I'm going to try to get out of this thing. Recovery Administrator for the county. I'm going to be fast because you still have a lot coming up tonight. The last month when I was here, we talked about the Kona Low and we talked about the resources that were available. We still have an upcoming deadline of June 14th. So if you had damage during the Kona Low event, there are two different resources I want you to know about. There's the FEMA resource and there's the SBA resource. Both are to help you get you back on your feet. These are not to be duplication of like your insurance, but if you still need help, those resources are still there. So you have about 10 more days. If you've thought about signing up for FEMA or SBA and you just didn't get around to it, you have about 10 days to do so. If you have questions, we have FEMA people here tonight, right there. I thought this was a really cool stat. Thanks, Steph, for pulling it out. 93 single-family homes have been completed just this year. I thought that was great. So we talk about stats all the time. I spent this afternoon in Lahaina driving all over at different things, and it was awesome to see the construction. So these stats are updated regularly on Maui Recovers, so please, if you haven't gone to Maui Recovers, go ahead and check it out. Just a quick note that work continues at the harbor, so there's still some road closures on Front Street, and we're just as a reminder, there's a lot of activity down and around there. There is some opening. We've talked about how the harbor's working today in the past, but we just wanted to give you an update that there is some work going on in the harbor right now. And then the next blessing for the next project is this project right here that you see. This is the railing project that has always been there, well, not always, but been there a long time. And this project was very recently completed, so we're going to do a blessing on July 1st for this project and invite folks to come down and see it. It's beautiful. I was also there today to see it, and I can't wait till others can see it. And I am going to now turn it over to Deputy Managing Director Erin Wade.
Thanks, John. I just wanted to share that the Lahaina Think Space opened today. So this space is essentially a space for storytelling and story gathering. Because Lahaina is such a special place, and just investing in infrastructure projects without fully connecting with the story of the place or the story of the people would fall flat and wouldn't match Lahaina's character. We wanted to create a space that was specific to being able to invite folks to come share with us and to listen to the stories from one another as well. We did start this space at Lahaina Luna, so it was up with on campus, and the students and staff were able to come and share, both to listen to stories that had been collected from Kupuna, as well as to provide their own feedback and thoughts about what their hopes are for a return of Lahaina town. So it's really, really beautiful. I hope you're able to come check it out. It's at Queen Ka'ahumanu Center across from Starbucks. So, apologies up front that we weren't able to provide a place specifically in Lahaina yet, but we are actively looking to be able to transition this so that it can be available much longer term. We have it for the month of June and July at Queen Ka'ahumanu Center, and we're going to keep trying to grow this as people contribute and add to the story. So we invite you to come check it out when you're available and you're in Central Maui. Thank you. Oh, and next I think is Nick. Hi, Nick. Nick's going to share a little bit about the distribution center. Nick's from Hawaiian Council.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Carroll. I am the Chief of Staff over at the Hawaiian Council, formerly known as the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement. for folks who are not familiar with the Hawaiian Council, we've been doing a lot of different things, after the fires. A lot of different ways that we could just go ahead and try to support people out of the box ideas. So some of the things that we've been able to do is the host housing support program, where we help to go ahead and there's a lot of folks who live with friends and families right after the fires, try to go ahead and help the hosts. And trying to help people who are not eligible for FEMA, trying to get them into housing, and also helping those who are eligible for FEMA be able to afford the different properties that were being leased out. So we would go ahead and help to subsidize some of the different rents, and we were able to go ahead and build some homes as well, temporary homes. But one of the things that we had the opportunity to go ahead and do was to go ahead and facilitate the distribution center and the distribution of different goods and supplies that came into Maui. It really started off as an idea. It was something that Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke at the time came to us and asked us and said, hey, there's a lot of things that are coming into Hawaii right now to go ahead and support Maui community. And how are we able to go ahead and aggregate a lot of these different things? So what we did was we went ahead and took a warehouse in Honolulu, down in Kaka'ako, and it was huge. It was a huge warehouse, and we went ahead and started to aggregate a lot of the different supplies and the goods that came into community, and and bring them over to Maui. And then we actually had the opportunity to work with the County of Maui to go ahead and facilitate a distribution center over there once the things came over here. So if you folks were familiar, it was the old Safeway down in Kahului. And then now we have a distribution center that we're facilitating over at the old Lowe's down in Kahului, next to Seafood City. So if you folks aren't familiar, this has been open for quite some time now. It's about 2 years or so. And it has a lot of different materials and supplies that folks who have been impacted by the fires can go ahead and utilize and take. So some of the things that are listed here is baby supplies, personal hygiene products, but I think the benefit of what is at the warehouse is a lot of the long-term supplies. So that includes furniture, so those are like different couches, we get TVs, sofa sets, lazy boys, all kind of different things. Some of it is used, but some of it is new as well. But the other things that we have is like things like window AC units. We also have microwaves, we have appliance packages and other things as well. And I wanted to make sure that you folks are aware of this resource that is available to you, but also to let you folks know that I think that the point of recovery that we are in, when the resource or the distribution center first started, it was for the immediate support, right? There was a lot of things that people needed to go ahead and get, and then it turned into long-term supplies. And we do recognize that there are homes being built, but there is a lot of folks who are still within that process to go ahead and rebuild, or they stabilized. They found some place to go ahead and make wherever they are right now home. And I think for us, we want to make sure that these different products are getting into the hands of community, and it's not sitting within a warehouse. So what we are planning on doing is we are planning to go ahead and sunset the location in the next 45 days. And with that, we do want to encourage folks to be able to go ahead and come get the supplies as they are available. So I mean, I think that what it is that we want to make sure that during this time, we have you folks come down, come get what you need. It might not be something that you need necessarily right now at this point, but it might be something that you might need in the future as well. So we encourage you to come down, come take a look. And then this is the location, 270 Dairy Road, which is the old Lowe's next to Seafood City. And then you could come in anytime, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you have any questions, you feel free to go ahead and call or email that address over there. But the other thing too is I think I just really want to mention is that a lot of the different supplies and goods that were donated was to go ahead and support those who were impacted by the fires. But we also know that there is a subset of community who is hurting as well right now through the floods. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to also kako'o the folks who have been impacted by the floods as well. So these materials and supplies that are in the warehouse are going to be opened up to those who have been impacted by the floods as well. as folks who have been part of or going through this process for the last 3 years, I feel like it's important for me to go ahead and share that information to you. But I think that you folks will go ahead and understand that at this time, when folks are in time of need, right, we all kako and we all uplift one another. So I hope that you could go ahead and understand that. But anyways, come down and get whatever, yeah, just come down and come get whatever you think that you need. Yeah. If you have any questions, our staff is down here, so I think we have some of our staff over here, and we also have the manager of the warehouse is back over there, Kim. She's back here as well, so if you have any questions, feel free to come over to some of the staff. But mahalo for your time.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks to Hawaiian Council for all the work that you've done. So translation, real quick, go get stuff. If you have not been down there, please go down there and pick up your stuff. That's the short version. Jeannie, are you able to come up? So we're going to talk about the Ho'okumu Whole program, and we're going to go fast because I know Kumu's coming up pretty soon. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie. I'm going to let her talk through these specific floor plans and then encourage you to sign up again.
Aloha, everyone, and mahalo for having me yet again. So I'm here just as a reminder to have everyone sign up for the single-family homeowner reconstruction program. Again, this program may help you be able to reconstruct your single-family home if you have not yet started that process. We do have quite a few floor plans that are available. So the floor plans you see up on the screen, there are a few more as well. You could be eligible for the same bedroom, bathroom, and square footage configuration as your pre-fire permitted structure. If you have questions or want to learn more information about the floor plans, we have flyers and information, and we have our awesome team here as usual to help you submit your applications. So just so you all know, currently we have 50 applications for reconstruction. We have room in the program for about 250. So if you haven't yet signed up, if you're not sure that if you qualify, please come talk to us. Let us know. We can definitely work through your individual situation and try to get you signed up for the program. One thing of note as well, on June 1st, HUD did increase the income limits slightly for Maui County. So if you thought you didn't income qualify before, that was preventing you from applying, make sure you come see us because those are a little bit higher now, so you may fit in within the income eligibility. The county is also evaluating potentially increasing the maximum, so more to come on that. Hopefully in the fall, that'll come out through an action plan amendment, but something to keep in mind, we definitely don't want income eligibility to be a barrier. All right, reimbursement is still open as well. We still have some room left in that program if you're interested. If you've already completed the construction on your home, you've gotten that final inspection and you're ready to seek reimbursement, come talk to us. We'll help you submit an application. You can also apply online. There's a QR code there. Everybody loves those. If you don't want to come talk to us today, we also have the Lahaina Resource Center as well as Kahului Resource Center available for you to come on in and talk to our teams there. Just one note, we also do have an action plan amendment, substantial amendment to the action plan that is currently available for public comment. That action plan amendment establishes a program cap for the buyout program. So we've talked about that program before. That is for properties on the Mackay side of Front Street, Historic Districts 1 and 2. So if you're interested in that, scan the QR code. You can make some comments and let us know what you think about those amendments. All right, and then just a reminder, or maybe new information, on June 23rd, Hot Kapuna Nights is coming back, and that'll be at the Civic Center. So our team will also be there if you know any kapuna that want to submit applications or need resources or just want to have a good time. Come on over to Hot Kapuna Nights. All right, that is all I have.
Thanks, Jeannie. All right, Mr. Pat McCall, come on down. Can we do it for you?
Yeah. Next slide. Good evening, everybody. Once again, thanks for having us here. Mahina already said everything I was going to say, so I'm going to be really quick. We had our open house on May 19th at the rec center, at the Civic Center, and we got a lot of great community input. Our designers are already implementing that into the program. And again, this is regarding the new community center as well as the field house that we're building. And we're here tonight. There's some park people here. We have the boards up here that we'll also get some, after the presentations tonight, give you an opportunity to once again put an input. And the virtual online open house has been open since the 19th. We've got a lot of input from there. Who knew? Wrestling is big in Lahaina, and the wrestling community has come out very strong and talked to us about that. And the QR code is there. It's also over there on the display, and that will be open through June 14th. So please, we want to get as much input to our designers as possible. And we have basically a site section, a community field house section, and a community center section that you can go and look at those boards. And someone approached me about it earlier, so I just wanted to announce it to everybody that the playground at the rec center, the groundbreaking is scheduled for August 12th. And so that will start in August, and the playground is on its way. All right, so I'm done, John.
Thanks. Keep it moving. Mr. Kimo, tell us about water.
Good evening, everybody. Kimo Langer, Deputy Water Supply. So I'm here to talk about our first large project in Lahaina. It's the Lahaina Waterline Improvement Project. Basically, we're going to strengthen Lahaina's water system. We're going to replace about 20,000 feet of water line. And the project is set to start about the third week in July. It's a 2-year project. So this is what we hope we're going to gain. New waterline infrastructure to support the long-term system performance, expanding infrastructure capacity to meet current and future community needs, optimizing water flow and distribution efficiency across the service area, strengthening the water system to reduce service interruptions and minimize water system maintenance. And also we're going to add additional fire protection with additional hydrants. So this is the areas that we're going to replace the water line. As you can see, there are 4 phases. So each section has its own timeline. Some will overlap. And so these are the 4 phases, and these are the streets that get affected in each phase. We will be letting you know when we complete a phase, and we will be letting you know when we start the next phase. So you guys will be prepared, and you will know way ahead of time before it starts. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen, right? We're going to try to be as least disruptive to everybody as possible, right? So right now, you probably see us, some people are starting to do the prep work. Now, during this process, we're going to have to create some bypasses in the system so that we can make the project run quicker. But nobody's water service and no fire protection will be interrupted doing any of this work. There will be times when, say, a new phase is completed and we need to tie the new system, the new water line, into the existing system. So there will be a system shutdown for that. But you will be notified. We have also told the contractor that they need to hand deliver notices to anybody who gets affected by the shutdown. We don't expect any of the shutdowns to take longer than 8 hours. So this is the project. So you're going to have to bear with us. We appreciate everybody, kind of bearing with us as we go through it. But it's a project to improve the water system in Lahaina. Thank you.
Thanks, Kimo. Early on, we talked a lot about water, and thanks to Kimo and team, they got the system up and running, but this is the next phase to make it even better than what you have today. Ty, you ready? Okay, Tai Fukuoka from the State Department of Transportation. I know you got a lot going on. Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a lot going on. My name is Tai Fukuoka with DOT Highways. Well, sorry.
For the camera.
DOT Highways, you guys are probably very aware of all the activity we got going on. So thank you for your patience and understanding. I'll go over the older stuff first. So we'll go over the wildfire stuff. So we have a drain line replacement project. It's on Honopi'ilani Highway from Shaw Street all the way to Leali'i. Construction started earlier in the year, and we anticipate it'll be done by July. The other work we're doing is the guardrail. And I know it's caused everybody a little heartache. So again, appreciate you guys' patience, but we're replacing all the guardrail from Leali'i Parkway to Kapunakea Street. It started a few weeks ago, and we anticipate it'll be done in mid-October. We also have the Lahaina emergency evacuation route. We're in the process of evaluating some options for that 2.5 miles, but we already have Goodfellow on it, and it'll probably start construction in the next few weeks. And a longer-term project that we just got going off the ground is our traffic signal replacement. So we have 5 traffic signals between Shaw and Hinau Street. Probably start sometime next month, and it's a very long process with a lot of moving parts. So we anticipate the end of 2026 that it'll be completed. And going to our Kona Low projects, we had a lot of landslides. So from Honopi'ilani, from milepost 33 to 36, we did a lot of rock scaling and hauling of debris. So they're actually we took away the critical stuff, but they're gonna do a lot more rock scaling starting next week, and it'll probably take about 5 to 6 months to complete. What else? So we also have some rockfall fencing by the poly. So that we have to put out to bid, so we're hoping to get started by the end of the year, and we don't have an approximate date of completion. Oh, and because of the storms, we also found out that we damaged some drain pipe on Keawe Street. So that should be starting in 2 weeks and should be done by the end of July. And we still have our traffic emergency zone just before Oluwalu. So once Hawaiian Telecom completes their pole replacement, we've got about 2 weeks of remaining work, like striping, a little bit more paving, and then that should be done. And some of our longer-term projects, we have the Honopi'ilani realignment or Honopi'ilani Highway Improvement Project. We kind of started already. We just have to select the contractor, then we'll continue moving on. It's kind of a long-term project that we're just going to have to work through, and we'll try to minimize the interruption to traffic, but there will be the tie-in points at, right after the poly and after Oluwalu. And we also got the Lahaina Bypass 1C, so connecting Keawe Street to, I think, Pukuli'i. And we started some of the planning process, and we'll get that going as soon as can and hopefully get construction through. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ty. Okay, we'll ask Kumu to come up now and have the main presentation for tonight. Thank you for all of your patience tonight. I know there's a lot of content. I don't think that was right. I don't think it's Pu'ukoli'i. I think it's actually the next one up. Yeah, sorry. We'll fix that. Yeah.
Ai velina mai ke aloha ia kakoa pau i a koko mai nei. Oh, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I hope you folks are all doing well, and congratulations again to all of our pukana for 2026. Whether you're they do graduations in kindergarten now, or preschool, all the way to college, and even after. No, Leila, tonight we get to go ahead and talk story about Malu'ulu Olele, Mokuhinia, the Royal Complex. And this evening is a beginning of many conversations moving forward as we begin to think about, begin to dream, begin to manifest our thoughts about this place we love, and this place we call Mokuhinia, Moku'ula, and the Royal Lahaina Complex. So let's go ahead and get started. Not sure how you use this. Which arrow? Right, okay. Oh, you know. A very important chant written in 1862, I believe, by Kekuewa, E ho'i kanani moku'ula. Because of moku'ula, the glory will return. Yeah, because of moku'ula, the glory will return. And so we begin this thought with the understanding that no kokako honua, this is our Aina. This belongs to the community of Lahaina, belongs to the community of Maui, and then the broader community of Hawaii. So what are we going to be covering tonight? Here are the 3 or 5 different areas. E ho'i kanani, what is the Royal Complex? Na kumuhana, what is the master plan about? Or hui ho'olala, who's involved, and their kuleana. Hana, what is being done, where are we going, and then kokako holomua ana, how can we all get involved? And again, here is the oli, e ho'i kanani moku'ula. I don't know the ea of how Kekuewa had presented it back in 1862. And I do know that there's a little typo in there, so kalamaia'u on that one. But e ho'i kanani moku'ula, iuka vale o waine'e la. These are some of the areas that you're probably familiar with. Moku'ula, waine'e. Kaua'ula, mai ko ukala, ka'alani mai ko ke kaila. We're familiar with Kaua'ula. Huli aku I ke alo I lana'i, o iano. Ma ke koa iho moloka'i la e. Ka malu ka pu'u o ha'upu, ke la pu'u oni o I kela la e. Now, if you can answer to me where the pu'u of ha'upu is, I'll give you candy. I ka lehua o ka ana o ke aloha la, I ka luna vale o ka laela. Now, you might understand ka ana is a shortened version of a space that you currently know today, ka ana pali. O maka keua, ka makani la e kai vale o miki la. Haina ka ino I ka la'i la e mā noa no hei noa la e. E ho'i kanani moku'ula. It should be an anthem. E ho'i kanani moku'ula. Kind of like how we say, Merry Christmas. E ho'i kanani moku'ula. May the glory continue to return to that wahi. Centering on the piko of the Royal Complex, the piko, again, moku'ula, mokuhinia, and one very important akua, ki hawahine. Ka malu'ulu o lele, it's an aina momona, a land of abundance. Pi'ilani, Kamehameha, the kingdom, the dynasty. And then the ripple that surrounds all of that. All of those conversations about aina, about vai and kai, surrounding significant historic places around Moku'ula, around Mokuhinia, and what the Royal Complex looks like. In our early conversations that we've had so far, we've gotten perspectives from Opio, Kupuna, including Makua, Kumuhula, and local businesses. And this is just the beginning. As I said, this is the beginning of many conversations to happen. And here are some of the main mana'o that have come out of some of those conversations. If you look, the bigger thoughts, again, memories of Lahaina's roots, ki hawahine, her dwelling, turn, kauikeaoli in the Hawaiian kingdom, planning for future generations, sufficient vai, return of the vai, all of those things. Foundations of restoration. This is kind of one that I'd like to take a pause at, because I'd like you to go ahead and join me in saying this. Ola ka aina. Ola ke kanaka. Hanaho. Ola ka aina. Ola ke kanaka. One more time. Ola ka aina. Ola ke kanaka. Yeah. The Mana'o Hawaii to that is when our Aina thrives, so do the people. When the Aina thrives, so do the people. So when we think about this particular kuleana of how we're moving forward, it's thinking about that first. And then all of the other things will continue to be cared for. So restoring our relationships to our Aina, to our Vai, our Ea, and our abundance, our cultural, ecological, and community healing, our long-term malama Aina for future generations, and then really grounded in Ike Kupuna, Ike Hawaii, and community leadership. One more time. Ola ka Aina. Ola ke kanaka. Oh yeah. You can get one test after, okay? Okay, so, some folks will always ask, what is a master plan? Well, here is in those big blue areas, a comprehensive long-term blueprint that guides the strategy of restoration over a multi-year time frame. Oh, there are plenty of words in that. Yeah? Master plan, in the eyes of our kupuna, would be kilo. Yeah? Observe. Kilo ho. Continue to observe. And let that be the answer of how you're guided next. Ola ka aina, ola ke kanaka. Yeah? Big picture goals and specific actionable steps for: 1, the restoration of physical spaces, identifying programs and partners, identifying sustainable funding sources, identifying key laws and policies important to implementing restoration work and long-term. We'll take that stewardship word out and put the word servantship. Yeah? And then what will the Royal Complex Master Plan include? The restoration of the Pico, Aina, Vai, Kai, and sacred historic places in Kiha-Wahine. Community healing and intergenerational learning through Pilina to place. Preservation of cultural knowledge and practice. Long-term stewardship and governance grounded in Aloha Aina. Our Nakumuhana. These are our Aina resilience informed by research, collective experiences, and again, Ike Kupuna. Our holistic native ecosystem restoration, groundwater recharge, and the well-being of Vai, flood and fire resilience, well-being of Aina and Kai, and a reduction of urban heat impact. Again, ola ka Aina, ola ke kanaka. I'm going to pause here because I want you to see the complexity and the immensity of this project. And it's not going to be done overnight. It's going to take time for us to kilo. It's going to take time for us to observe. And it's going to take time for us to continue to work with community, with all of you. So the areas that I can kind of point out over here, you guys are familiar with Moku'ula area in the local of Mokuhinia. You're familiar with what you know as 500 Front, which is a parking area. What used to be the old Salvation Army site, and then a little bit Mauka of that on Shaw. And then Makai of that is the area known as the Hale, what is that? The Halepiula. And then right next in that area is where currently Halau, the Halau Va'a, Hui Va'a Kaulua area. Further, I guess, what direction is that? Lahaina direction is Pakala. Yeah. I got to start thinking more Hawaiian, Kalamai. And then we have the Halekamani, and then we have Kiawaiki, and then we're all the way out to the old library space. So when we're thinking about Alanui Mo'i, from the old library all the way to what you know as 505. Yeah? So that is the complexity of the Royal Complex Restoration Area. Okay. Kahui Ho'olala, the planning team, Department of OEV Resources has a planning team under the president of G70 is Kavika McKeag, and this is their team that they've put together to go ahead and do all of the work, all of the studies, all of the planning, etc. And so I'm going to go ahead and just take this opportunity to again acknowledge G70 and all of their partners, Aina Archaeology, ACOS, Fairs and Peers, GeoLab Inc., Hawaii Wildlife Management Org, Intera, Kahalawai Consulting, SR Partners, Umemoro Cassandro Designs. And then our community partners that we continuously work with, along with our Aina advocate. Many of you folks know Kai'ea Maderos here, part of our Department of OEV and the Aina advocacy. And really he is Kumu's boots on the ground and Kumu's eyes and ears to the community. And these are community partners that we're working with. Huiwa Akaulua, Naikanio Maui, Lahaina Restoration Foundation. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Kavika McKeag.
The right button. See all the training that has to happen, right? The right button. Before I jump into slides, I realized some people may know my face, may know our firm, but I think it's proper to just do a whole round of who we are and our intention. I'm Kavika McKeag. I grew up primarily on the west side of Oahu. I guess my most informative places of Aina come from Honouliuli, specifically between Pu'u Palailai, Pu'u Makakilo, and Pu'u Kapole, if you're familiar. My father, who raised me, was a kahu in the Waianae Church, so most of that coastline is where I learned to do many things, like we all do growing up, fishing, playing music, etc. And somewhere along the way, I met my beautiful kumuhula, Vicky Hotakamine, and she advised about maybe 30 years ago, when all the action was happening at the legislature, to infiltrate a system. And if you know Kumu Vicky, when she says something, she kind of broadcasts and forecasts. She actually kilos in her own way to infiltrate a system of decision-making relative to the care of our resources, the care of our community. And so, long story short, that's who I am for 25, 30 years, and in the space and place of doing it through Group 70 and through other nonprofits. And I've been blessed literally to do work with many community groups, such as each of you this evening, from Keokaha to Kekaha. And tonight I have a lot of my team members who really are the ones to be applauded, because they're the ones on the boots on the ground, doing the work every day, coordinating. So I just want to acknowledge them, and I know we are short on time, so I'll move on. I think I would be also remiss not to pause a moment, because I think for my understanding of Kamalu'ulu'olele, the space of Lua'ehu, being reminded of the importance of, when we talk about a space, is not just a dot or a line or a polygon, that the connection of the beauty and importance of this space extends from Mauna Kawahine, Mo'oahia, Ahiki Kapapa, Limu o Pi'ilani. And somewhere in all of that, we're trying to make sense of what is the appropriate future that lends a sense of return to dignity, of glory, of connection, of relevancy. For us, especially as Kanaka Iwi, you know, we unfortunately sometimes we have lost spaces over time and generation for different reasons, and I don't need to go into that. So when we have an opportunity to return a part of ourselves to a place that will continue to enrich, to inform. So when we talk about this piece of Kilo, as I was taught from, I'd say probably John Kaimikawa, because he lived in Makakilo, which the word Kilo is in the place Makakilo, and he would say it's an observation of a place, of people over time with some consistency, but he would always amplify a sense of necessity that has to be intentional and purposeful, and it should lend to a point of discovery by which then you are informed to take an action. So that makes sense. And again, so I also come from a family of storytellers, so I'll try to be like controlling my thoughts, but I think that's important, that when we approach this, it's not just doing studies, it's trying to understand what has been, what had occurred, what has sort of returned on its own in terms of natural systems, understanding the resources of Vai, of Aina, and everything in between, and how do we want to return back to a place of dignity that brings back not literally just a single point in time, but a single point of understanding by which all of us, ko ka ko, as Kumu said, to a place of relevancy to respect this place. So the Kilo Aina, the work therein, involves doing this in informal ways. Some of it is being done boots on the ground. I need to recognize our partners from SR. They're here on Maui, having conversations with people probably in this room, Vala'au, to Kuka Kuka. And if you understand the differences between those two, there's different observations, there's different points of perspective, and we have to try and make sense of that. Then there's the formalities of actual technical studies that we try to bring into the space. So you saw that long list, and if you don't know those names, that's okay. But in short, we have someone like Tanya Lee Gregg from Aina Archaeology, who has been very literally boots on the ground helping in this restoration. We couldn't think of any other person, and we wouldn't want to pick any other person when we talk about cultural heritage, the care and protection of historic resources, archaeological resources. We also have some of the preeminent folks who study Vai from a technical perspective. Intera is one of them. Kahala Vai Consulting with Jonathan Scheuer does tremendous amount of work in water policy. We also have folks that do traffic and civil engineering. We have biologists. As I mentioned, there's a thought in Hawaiian too that, you know, some of us are familiar working within our Hawaiian community. This is probably quite familiar. You know, the idea of auli pauka iki ka halau ho'okahi. Not all knowledge is in one school. Not all knowledge is in one firm or one community, one organization, one family, or one individual. So there's another beautiful word in Hawaiian that says eloaki kako, to bring together, of a particular school of talents, skills, expertise, but also commitment to accomplish a task or goal. So our goal is to move in that direction. And as I shared here, we're trying to think about what does a return to Moku'ula look like in a variety of these facets of understanding, of knowledge, and then pulling that all together. What Kumu also said is we're not going to do this by ourselves. Some of us are from Oahu, and don't fault us for that. My ohana comes from Ka'avaloa to Kauai, but we know we don't hold all the answers. We can lend thought to process, we can lend thought to design, we can lend thought to how we're going to succeed and implement certain actions, but what we think is super important is to do a co-creative process with community, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And I think I just realized I skipped. Keep going? All right. I want to introduce Andrew Choi, though. He's going to be an important person for you to see. Maybe, Andrew, if you can just wave your hand. You can stand up. No shame. Andrew's super important. And since I'm here, Miss Kauahi Ching, too. These two faces you're going to get to know over the next few months because Andrew is one of my most trusted confidants to help lead the project as the alaka'i, if you will. And Kauahi is blessed with having been born out of a space where pursuits of excellence is part of her character. And her pursuit of excellence is amplified in the work she does as a designer, but also as a cultural practitioner. And so when I thought about who could we bring into this space when Kahea was put out, I could think of no one other in my firm, not my firm, sorry, our firm, than Kauahi to lead. So over the next few months, Kauahi and Andrew will probably be the ones you see more, in these meetings, asking those questions, seeking your feedback in Mana'o. So I mentioned for a bit, we find it to be a better process for everybody if there's transparency, inclusivity, an opportunity for you as community members to sit with the information and not just go, okay, this is what we're going to do. You guys feel good now, right? And boom, and we move on. Or sometimes we've all been there where you come to a meeting, and this is not to chide anyone who does this, but oftentimes we can go to a meeting where you got 2 minutes to say your piece on a microphone, and then mahalo for coming, and that's it. What we like to do is find a real way to create meaningful engagement, to have conversations about the space and place we're going to co-create together over time. And how are we going to do that? As I mentioned, we started to do that with some of the Vala'au and Kuka Kuka that's been ongoing. We also see we're going to use different kinds of tools, which I think at the end we talk about one of our community surveys that's going to be available. And I'm going to say in advance, I appreciate the indulgence and patience because I'm sure you might be surveyed out, you might be meeting out, but if you can bear considering to take part in this one, hopefully it also entices and provokes in a good way some sensibilities that you never understood or thought about for Moku'ula and Mokuhinia and the Royal Complex. We also want to be intentional that as we learn, we want to make sure whoever is committed from the community also learns. And what I mean by that, and this comes really from the team and Kumu, we were sitting down talking story, well, what else can we do that while we go through the technical side to develop a master plan, can there be other pieces of ongoing learning by which the community can gather, like you are tonight, but there's a very, again, intentional focus and purpose to learn maybe a specific oli, or a mele, or a mo'olelo, that over time, over the weeks and months and I will say years to come, that these things become second nature to you. So when there's a need to make a kahea to say, hey, we want to do a dedication or something of importance where we want to congregate the community, you already know, quote unquote, the protocol. You already know the sense of expectation and demeanor because you made a commitment to come to these gatherings. So that's the second part of setting the foundation. Then we'll probably set up a series of meetings. We haven't really figured it out. There's different ways we do it. But, we use the word charrette process, which is probably one of our don't use words. But the idea is that we bring to the table our ideas of how we can accomplish physical design, programming, and we want to do that with the partners that Kaponai mentioned, folks who are actually doing and actually planning work already. We're not going to start from scratch. We want to work with them to understand what the needs are, what the opportunities are, but get to a point where we actually have a physical plan. And along the way, we continue to share that with each of you here this evening. And then, right, a plan to plan is great, but a plan without sort of a strategy of implementation, which, again, I don't want to bore you with details, but things like, okay, we have 5 important projects. Who's going to do it? Where's the funding going to come from? Who's going to be the partnership to make this successful? And more so, how do you sustain that over time? And when I say time, I don't mean for 1, 2, 5 years. I'm talking, 6, 7 plus generations out. So that's something we'll do. And then finally, having a draft plan that comes back to community before we go through all the processes of approval and whatnot. So again, this is a journey that we're starting to take this evening. I'm not going to spend too much on this slide, but sometimes we get the question, well, how long is this going to take? And I guess per our contract, per our work, per what's in front of us, we have specific goals. And I guess what I want to highlight is that if we can do this right in the sense of engaging with meaning, answering questions, getting the right information, coming to consensus and agreement as to what needs to be prioritized, we'd like to be in a position where by spring of next year, which is not too far away, less than a year, we're in a space where we're sharing a draft plan for community refinement. Now, as you can see, there's many other steps along the way, and I'm happy to come back and speak to that slide, but I think for the sake of the evening, I just want to show you that there's many steps along the way. And I think this is back to you, sir. Okay.
Hello. I'm going to ask Zeke a quick question. Zeke, earlier you were playing a lovely tune by Marvin Tevanga called O Ko Aloha. Is it possible to have that under playing tonight while Kumu talks? I'm going to try to put you in the mood, Nana. Is that possible? Oh, okay. Okay, Kalamai. The reason why this mele was created by my dad back in 1991, and he created it for graduating class of 1991 for St. Louis School. The reason why I know this is because I'm the class of 1991. 35 years ago, holy smokes. But anyway, in 1992, my dad and some of his alakai came to Lahaina Luna. And we got an opportunity to talk story with the borders of Lahaina Luna, and Dad offered this mele to them as a symbol, as a significant thought process that we go on our journey and we make every significant piece of our imprint very impressionable. For the road that we travel is plenty. And so this is our road. Though it may be very far to get to what we call restoration, we all have to know that each moment is really impressionable. Each moment is really, really important for our kama'aina, for our kupa'aina, for our community to be very proud of. The ongoing educational programs that are happening within the way, within the alahele, within the road, is one that we're all going to learn from. We're going to feel uncomfortable in some spots, but in the long run, that is our goal. And so, ola ka'aina, ola ke kanaka. Yeah. And so, Lahaina Luna has embraced this beautiful mele as their own, and they sing it much better than the boys at St. Louis. But I do want to make sure that mele is understood for all of you in this community. That for everything that we do is for the community, for the love of this community, and for generations to come. No leila, mahalo anui o kou, no keia hui ana I keia ahiahinei. This is how you can start to integrate and how you can start to get involved. Fill out the survey. Yeah, take a picture of that. Grab your camera. Go ahead and take a picture. Let us know more about you and how we can contact you about upcoming opportunities to participate. Share your interest in the Royal Complex. Help us shape future community engagements. What do you seek to learn? What do you seek to offer? Then learn more through the website and stay connected. And so this is part of your kuleana, the question for you to go ahead and begin the survey. And so I thank you for each and every one of you being here this evening, that you get to begin to engage. And all of that engagement, I think Kim from SR Partners is going to probably see, right, on the surveys. Well, you know. And then, for any questions, we're going to go ahead and leave it open here. We'll have our table here for you to come up, ask questions, or do we have a few minutes here now? Okay, hikino. And then if you wanted to, if you didn't want to ask, you can always email those questions here, lrc@g70.design. Noleila, mahalo anui o koa pau. Have a great evening. We look forward to talking story with you. Aloha.
Mahalo, mahalo, kumu kapana'ai moli tau. Also the director of the county's Department of EV Resources, the first of its kind in the state of Hawaii. Breaking ground all the way through. So we're going to spend a little bit of time. That clock is wrong. It says, yeah, it's very wrong. So we're going to spend a little bit of time helping with some questions tonight. We got a lot of presentations and some fabulous work. We also want to allow enough time for you to visit our kokua help tables. There's some input boards over there, or EV Resources and their contractors are here to talk story. FEMA is here, 4-leaf water department. So why don't we do the usual? I know some more there. Please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll call on you. Okay, I see in the back. And who's the other microphone?
Trinity.
Okay. I see one backside, and then Junior. Okay, go ahead. Hi, aloha. Your question?
How's it? Transportation?
Transportation?
I'd like to ask if the Fleming Road in the future is going to be widened, especially when the bypass coming up. I've heard that through the grapevine, they're planning on widening that road. Is it true or not?
Oh, I'm sorry, repeat the question again?
The widening of Fleming Road, is that going to happen? I just heard that
Fleming.
concerning.
Yeah, oh, sorry, that's on County Road, so I don't really have jurisdiction or
Okay,
any comments on that.
I'll go ask the county guy in Public Works over there.
You see now Ty is like, oh, thank God. Hang on, I think John can help you with that question.
Yeah, so I will have to talk to Public Works and get back to you, but you just want to know if Fleming's going to be widened?
Yeah, I just heard about it the other day, and this is like, I didn't know about it because they said they was planning to take something like 8 feet. So I was like, whoa, let me go see what's happening.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard that either, so let me go check on that, and then we'll bring that back next month, or if we can get to you sooner, we will.
Okay, another question. Ho. I went there last October, asking for help on the reimbursement, and I did lose a ADU, and they said that they don't build ADUs, and so I asked, so what about a 3-bedroom? They said our property not gonna have 2 main dwellings. Well, my property is almost 33,000 square feet, so why can't it have another maybe 3-bedroom dwelling? I have family that wants to come home. Yeah. And another thing is reimbursement. At that time, they told me no about the ADU. So they said the only program I'll be in would be the reimbursement because I paid Samaritan Purse, which we are fortunate that they were helping us, the balance of the dwelling. And all we had to do is show that the insurance company made us pay. It's kind of obvious that we had to pay because it had their name on the check and ours. So we had to pay the note before we could use that money. So I would like to know why now in May, last month, they said that we cannot get the reimbursement, which is kind of in October of last year, they told us we can. May, I just went to the Costco. We didn't have an appointment. We just went by, and somebody came on the phone and talked with us, which was kind of hard because they didn't want to be on speaker, which I understand because when we listen to the both of us talk, I don't usually come to meetings. I came because I seen Keiko's last good news on Facebook last May. So that's why I went again that following Monday. So that's what I would like to know.
Okay. Great questions. I think you should come talk to me and Jeannie right after this so we can sit down and go through it with you in detail and understand. So these are great questions for everybody. Like one thing that we got to make sure is that we're fulfilling the need with the family.
Yeah.
So sometimes we understand there's lots of multi-generational families live on one property. We get that. So sometimes there are unique situations where we can actually help build a second house on the property. There's definitions that we got to work with, but if you got a big enough property, there are some possibilities there. So I definitely don't want you to hear no can. I want you to come talk to us again. Sometimes not the gals up front or the girls, they don't always know all the details of those right off the bat. So sometimes we can get into those with you and work out a solution. The other thing is, just like Jeannie said, we're trying to push the limits of the income up. So some of you guys missed it because it made a little bit too much money. Now we're trying to raise that up a little bit so we can bring more people into the program. We had to show HUD that we didn't get all the signups, but now we're able to show that. So I know that wasn't your exact question, but I'm answering it that way to help people understand where we're going with this.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. I just I understood that, they don't build LDUs, and I took it as, okay, they don't. But what I don't understand is also, since we was moving away from the ADU, is the reimbursement phase.
Yeah.
At that time, he told us we can come in.
Yeah.
He said we cannot. So
No,
that's another one
The
too.
reimbursement piece of that, I mean, at face value, you should be able to, but I'd have to listen to your details very, very specifically. So the reimbursement program, the real simple version is if you're done with your house, meaning you have occupancy in your house, then that's the one that's eligible to sign up for reimbursement. You have to be POW. You can't be halfway through, all the way done. And that's a hard deadline of the end of this year. We're going to extend it to the end of this year, but that's the hard deadline. And if you're not done with your house by the end of this year, that program goes away. That's not something we have control over. That's something that was set from the very beginning. I've said that 100 times, but it's still open. If you got a no or a soft no or something, you're not quite sure, please come see me, come see Jeannie, and we'll talk through the details and see if there's a possibility. If there's any possibility to get you in the program, we will do so because we have funds left in that program to help you folks. Okay?
Thank you, sir. I know I saw a hand raise over there, Kaliko, and then over on this side, Morris, and we'll go to the middle, to gentleman in the blue. Yes, your question. Who? Okay, you guys kind of jump and pull. So I saw many hands. Okay, I didn't call you, but you're standing with the mic in your hand.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we
he
go
gave
with
them to
you.
me.
Go ahead. What's your question, sir?
So my question, I guess, is more of one question and concern about the proposed road route up for the new Camp Third School, going up Prison Street. Me and my family live on that road. I talked to John earlier before I came to the meeting because I saw him down there. They was looking at it for some other reasons as well, but I guess I'm not understanding why. I know it's not one permanent decision for the road to go up that way to the school, but why is that being a big consideration for being the route to get up there instead of using, because that's one of the 3 routes that I saw of the map. Why not use Shaw Street? Because Shaw Street already has a stoplight. It has the 2 lanes going into the aquatic center, the Boys and Girls Club, to the back of the recreation center. Has the storm drains with the sidewalks for ADA. All that infrastructure is already implemented there. So if you was going to do them on Prison Street, wouldn't you be having to create all of that, a new infrastructure to get up there? And if it's a cost thing, because it's a shorter route, I don't see it being any cheaper. I think you spend more money because you got to move utility poles, create new storm drains, traffic light. You got to do all those traffic studies, environmental impact, cultural. My house, I built my house right there that I had to go through archaeological surveys, monitoring. So, I mean, I don't see that being a cheaper route. Not only that, you got to look at the water flow coming down there. With the Kona Low, I mean, throughout my whole life, we always dealt with flooding down there. But with the Kona Low, same thing. The retention basin is literally right there. That's where all the water flows directly straight to that retention basin. And that retention basin is lame. I mean, honestly, if you guys drove past there, the thing stays full after little storms, little rain. It doesn't go anywhere. The water doesn't go anywhere. It all flows through there. And that's all my concerns, like big concerns. If you put a road straight up Prison, that's making like one whole clean river to come through straight down, not only with all the other impacts that's going to happen.
Okay, we're going to mahalo for that. And John is here. And then after John's answer, we're going to go to Junior over there. And then we'll come back this side and sir in the middle with the blue.
Thank you this afternoon when I was running around. But every single thing that you said is pretty much accurate. There's all those problems. So if you're going to do the school, we have to take all that stuff into account. And I was just talking to Ty while you were talking about like some of these concerns. And we can't just do prison without taking that into account. We can't do additional building without taking into the drainage. We have to fix some of the existing drainage concerns. So all of that stuff we're thinking about right now. So literally every single thing you talked about, we're thinking through, and that was one of the reasons that I was out there today. So thank you for these comments. We're gonna start logging them just for that area. And we're not gonna stop talking about it until we've got all those things addressed. I mean, we're also talking about whether or not we put the parks facility over there too. So there's the school, there's that, there's other things to think about in that area that we are considering. And we want this feedback. That's why we're doing this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you for that. Junior.
This is for the Parks and Recreation. So, brother, I brought this up in December to getting the field ready for the All-Star. Yeah? We're going to get 6 districts coming to Lahaina. First time in 8 years. The reason why is because the park has never been up to par to be able to hold one tournament on that field. So we got the shot in the stick for years. I coached almost 25 years. And then you know where we gotta go? Oleapkanche, Kihei, Kahalui. Yeah? And then sometimes me and my brother coach 2 divisions, the minors and the majors. So now we gotta go up country 1 tournament. That's 5 days, guys. 5 days tournament. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We gotta drive back and forth every time. We live in the Piliao. Yeah? And we get shafted. So I brought this up in December. I just went down there just this morning. That park is not even near being ready for our tournament that's gonna happen in the end of June. Okay? Like you guys put there, John will put how many families coming home, how many permits got approved and all of that. It's all great news. But remember now, as how much kids coming home too? Yeah, we get 200 kids to sign up this year. We don't win enough parks. And the parks that we get is hopeless. You get choke weeds, they get bad bounce, they're getting crack in their eye. When you get one kid that is 5 and 6 years old, they come scared. Yeah, then we gotta coach them more hard. Okay, I thought the deputy director would have some keen knowledge about tournaments. Yeah, because of what he does outside of the county. And we're going to get 6 districts this year coming for the minor leagues. Some shame, we're going to get our park, Lahaina. We're supposed to be proud. Supposed to be proud of Lahaina. I am. Don't get me no damn wrong. I'm freaking proud. But how can I be proud when you get one park that is ready for fall apart? It's dangerous. Yeah, the storage room is gone. Yeah, our batting cage, pitching cage. Who go check them out? Parks director, you can go check them out. Huh? You seen them? What do you think? The kids can go practice inside there right now. Huh? What was that? No, yeah. That's how we gotta do it. People who volunteer every year. We get 5 teams in this league. 5 teams that our program coaches. I tell you right now, my frustration is way the hell up there. Okay? I frustrated, and you know what? Plenty of people wanted to be here, but they're coaching right now. We get 3 teams getting ready for All-Star tournaments. You won the 57 is going to happen right now up country. Did you go look at that field? Whoo! Awesome at that field. Cherry that field. No more weeds. But got cherry. Batting cage, clean. You go look Kaului, same thing. I just go in over there for the senior citizens. They play on Sundays. That field is awesome. No more weeds. Yeah? You go Molokai, Lanai, same thing. Why is Lahaina so screwed? When, in actuality, we generate some of the top tax dollars here and for the whole state. Yeah, not just Maui. And we get shafted. This is just a frustration that I bring it up because nobody like come do this like I do. Okay? I'm going to tell you guys, you're going to hear them every freaking day. And I get choke pictures on top here of how frustrating the thing is. Yeah. So what you going to do about fixing them? And is the tournament going to be ready to play? And why the field not ready? So we, our team, going to actually have one home field advantage. Okay, that's why we like one home field. So we got home field advantage. But right now we cannot practice on them because no more the dirt. Right now. And we just heard the dirt not coming for about a week or two. Next thing you know, next week, tournament. No kid practice on the team.
Thank you, Junior.
I would totally kakoo that. I totally support that. I'm a mother of a baseball player right now currently on the field, so I support exactly what Junior said. I'm also, so I just wanted to, with parks, if the playground is going to be, I think maybe the estimated time was August 12th, maybe, did I hear that right? August 8th is an important date for us. I would advocate that a few days earlier would be a good idea.
That's good to know, because we actually were looking at the date and trying to figure that out. So mahalo kaliko for that. And John, I know you've been waiting. Thank you for your patience. Your question, sir?
I'm just going to keep it short. It's just that one thing should be considered, and it never will be. It's called a forensic audit. And things need to be done. There's too much money floating around in the air, and it's not going to a lot of people that it needs to go to, whether it be me or not. This is not out of myself, but a lot of people need help in a lot of different areas, and we still feel that there's the great Lahaina land grab going on, amongst other things. The HUD grant, that's basically worthless to me because of all the things that I've been told. I mean, it's not building when I put soil in my lot where they dug it out, but it was considered, you know, building. So they said, no, you not can have grant for this or that or whatever. I'm still going to move forward no matter what the county does, if it's in my favor or not. But that's something within me. But people have to recognize that there's too much money floating around. There's too much crap going up with the building and a lot of these homes. I mean, you're not going to have parking in Waikuli for a lot of the homes, but they're being passed. We don't understand that. We got these major homes and all these people getting grant money for rentals, and it seems that the county's just hiding behind the fire to help alleviate the homeless problem and the housing problem. And it's never going to stop because the way things are going, it's the nature of things within the counties. So things have to be reconsidered in many different aspects. And I guess that's about it. We just need to go forward, but I don't see us going forward in a reasonable path because we're opening up ourselves to, you know, more devastation if we were to have certain kinds of, you know, environmental destruction and whatever through Mother Earth or, you know, fire, things like that. That's all understood, but I mean, there has to be more forethought into our progression into rebuilding Lahaina, because the way I see it now, it's like it's being rebuilt and it's going to be worse than it was before. So a lot of that has to do with decisions made on the county and the planning department and things like that. So I just hope that one can consider or reconsider what has been going on as far as monster homes going up and, you know, egress, especially things going on down around the cannery area where you have places like Mala Restaurant and the restaurant across the street, and they just been doing crap for the last decade and a half. It doesn't meet code. It doesn't do nothing. It just contributes to, you know, the dereliction of what we have to do as far as paying our flood insurance and things like that. That's one of the reasons they have the setback. But Why should we get stuck because somebody's doing illegal building without permits and things like that, and the pollution and all the lies, and I don't appreciate getting accosted and being, pushed down the frickin' road. And
Thank you. Thank you.
okay.
To still vision and dream it out and take our time to do it right.
Mahalo for that question, Mikey. So the question for Department of OEV or Office of Recovery is, with all the federal support that came 3 years ago in the initial phase of like the rush to help us out, and we started talking about the restoration of the Royal Complex, Moku'ula, has enough time gone by that has been lost or diminished to make the reality happen? I think I don't know where Kuma went. And did he step aside to take a call or is talking? Kumo, kaya funding, going once, going twice. I feel like there's an auction. Okay, we have Josiah Nishita, who is the head of the Department of Management. He's also our managing director, so he's a number 2 guy in the county.
Thank you very much. No, thank you for that question. It's a great question. Some of the other programs, I would say that would be very accurate too. That there are other programs or activities or plans that you need to take advantage of very early. I would say that a big part of any federal agency process or review includes, the community input and the environmental reviews, which, as many of you who have been involved in this process for many years with Moku'ula know that there has been a lot of community discussions and engagement to date. And I think the risk of pursuing something too quickly outweighs kind of those initial concerns. There are other opportunities through grants, through philanthropic organizations, as well as county funding to help with the long-term restoration efforts. And being able to ensure, as I don't know where Kumu went. Oh, there Kumu is. As he said earlier, ola ka'aina, ola ke kanaka. It's making sure that we take everything into account and that we're taking care of the land and the aina in the way that it should be. And that includes a lot of very technical studies, hydrology, understanding drainage, the way things work in the area, as well as the ecological impacts. And so those all really need to be taken into account before we can do it well. And we want to do it well the first time. So I would offer that. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that helps. And Kumu, you can add anything if you want. The question, the interest was with the federal monies and interest that came 3 years ago and our continuation, have we lost any of that interest at any point in time from the congressional side? I do know that our delegation has gone to meet with our congressional folks there last year. We'll continue again this year to keep their interest high on it and updated. Kumu?
Mahalo nui for the question. Not sure who asked that. Oh, aloha, Miki. We're heading up there on Friday. And that's the continued story of again, when we think about our own national monuments, right? Moku'ula, Mokuhinia is our national monument. And then when you go up to places like DC and you see their national monuments and how much resources they put to that, I think the story is unbalanced. And so 3 years ago when this all occurred, we are at this point in time where some of the not even phase 0 work. Right now we're still in planning. But phase 0 is being funded by some of that federal money to be able to clean out, right? Some of the clay courts, some of the old baseball stuff, cut down the trees, get down to baseline measures, and then we can start to look at what is possible for this Aina. And so, yeah, there is that work that's going to go ahead and move forward, and it's always interesting how you got to go like across the pond to tell somebody how important your Aina is. But coming back home, understanding it is important, right? Collectively, we all know that it is important, and we will continue to work towards that. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for that question. Go ahead, sir. Oh, both of you. Okay, right there. Sir, your question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. This is not as much of a question as I live on Waianae on Prison Street, and on 2 different occasions, one time water main broke and it flooded my yard and filled it with 12 inches of mud. And another time I got sick and tired of people crashing into each other because prison and Waianae Street have only one set of stop signs, it's not a 4-way. And I issued, why not? And they said, Waianae is a county street. Prison is a state road. So if you're working with Prison Street, keep that in mind.
So is that a question or a comment? Comment, okay. Thank you for that and reminding us of that. I think okay. You're so good. Okay, hi, aloha, your question. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Mahina. My question is, or more of a suggestion, as Councilmember Paulton reminded us, we're facing super El Nino, and this question has come up a lot in conversations I've been in where our community is still unsure of, I guess, evacuation routes. What new roads opened up in case an emergency happens and people have to evacuate, especially for your neighborhood. So I guess my ask is, in future meetings, can there be handout or can we carve out time in the meeting so we can talk about these things? Like, all right, these are the new roads that we opened up. If this and this were to happen, it'll trigger this and you guys can evacuate here. Or even things like what you can do to prep your home. A lot of people are still in the process of building, and I've seen pretty strong winds rip through even Wahikuli, where it's picking up pieces of lumber and flying things around. So in a hurricane, God forbid, but I guess just ways to prepare the community like that. I know it's on social media, but a lot of people aren't on social media and they attend these meetings. So I think that would be helpful, because even I'm still a little bit unclear with what roads we can take in around.
I think that's a great point. We did have the Fire Prevention Bureau here, I think last month, to talk a little bit about that. But specific to evacuation routes, absolutely, we can have that discussion. We really would like to keep that fresh and up high. So we will bring that to them. If we can get them on the agenda for their availability on July, we will, as soon as we can. So thank you for that. I saw a hand over here, and then Jackie, and then on that side and in the back as well. Okay, sir, your question? Hi.
Yeah, my question is regarding the Royal Complex areas. Now, you talked about Moku'ula, which is exciting. I'm wondering, what are the plans for the other areas, specifically the former site of King Kamehameha Third School, the courthouse, the library, other connecting properties?
Great question. Kumu, can you help with that?
Mahalo for the question. We no more picture yet, right? The picture or the plan has not been finalized, and this is where you folks come in to help with that, right? I can give you my own thoughts and my own, i'ini or desires of what that place would look like. It's part of the old royal complex of King Kamehameha III, Kauikiauli. So how do we honor that amazing mo'ikane? How do we honor the legacy of that ohana? And how do we educate those that are coming from around the world to be educated about that complex, about that area, about that space? And I think that's all part of the plan. But in terms of what it may look like, I think that is all part of the kuleana of the collective. I'm not sure if that totally answers all of your question, but again, that's part of the hana, the doing. Yeah.
I think what you're going to see, Lahaina, is a lot of opportunities coming forward with information on when to participate, to come in and go to the open houses, go to the planning sessions, come to the focus group if you're invited, no matter what role you think you play. Because this is an opportunity for you to be part of history in the making. So absolutely, everyone is all welcome to the table in that. I lost track of it. Okay.
Sorry, I have one more. This one is for John Smith.
Okay.
John, you know, we're going to start to open up Front Street. Homecoming is coming. But we also know that we have families, generational families that live behind the wharf. They're in all these older streets. They're smaller homes. So my concern is that we open up behind them, in front of them, and then we forget about them. I know that we don't forget about them, but do you have a plan? Have we met with them? Have we connected them to Lahaina Strong for safety, security, all the things, or even just give them attention? What are your thoughts?
Well, happy to go down there and meet with them specifically to talk about. It's not open yet. I'll start with it. Front Street's not open today. You can get fairly far along there, but there's still some active things going on right there, and there's still quite a few sidewalks that are still damaged. So we are currently working with FEMA on reimbursement for those projects before we start them. The other thing I wanted to mention earlier, and I'm not trying to avoid your question, but just brought something up that Kimo was talking about. All of those waterline projects are going to bust up all those roads. And that's just, we're kind of holding back on some of the long-term roadway repairs because we know things like that are coming before we go pave all the roads. So it's kind of along the same lines where, and I like Mahina's term, kuleana in progress, this whole thing is just going to keep happening for the next several years. So why this is so important for you to tell me and us this is because there are things that we don't always remember, and we need the community to remind us, like, oh yeah, there's those families over there, don't forget about them, let's go talk to them, before we actually open it up. And if we do open it up, that it's a controlled plan. We have security down there. We've been paying for security to be down there for quite some time, and we plan to continue that for at least another year. So that's another a part of the solution. We have our Park Maui stuff that's coming up, so there'll be other people there to help manage that piece of it. So as it gets busier and busier, it's sort of a controlled thing as we open up. So we're opening, but it's a series of openings, and it's a planned thing that runs concurrent with all this construction. So thank you for reminding me that. I have not talked to that family and those families, and I think it's something that we should think about. So thank you, Kaliko.
Thank you. I know we have a question up front. And I do want to say it's really important because you can see how Lahaina is moving. I know people are like, they're not moving, it's moving. There are going to be points in time that are going to be extra complicated because, we wouldn't pave and then rip up and then pave again and all of that. So on the infrastructure side, Office of Recovery, you see them talk a lot more about infrastructure plans upcoming because it is getting very, very noticeable as we get more and more into the actual town rebuilding. I saw a hand up here, both of them. Okay, you're holding it. Go ahead, Jackie, your question.
Thanks, Mahina. Mahalo Kumu for that. You moved me earlier. Some really good stuff tonight. I have two things. So, my first is just a comment, and it's kind of more of like a community activation comment. Our two major places where businesses are allowed to be right now are the Cannery and the Gateway. Both of those have stores that have non-competes that prevent a lot of our smaller businesses from opening up. So for example, the two examples. Johto Mission was unable to do any sort of farmer's market because it's a competition with Safeway in that parking lot. I have a friend who had a really successful thrift store that burned down, and she is not able to go to either because both Ross, which more understandable, and Safeway would consider her business a non-compete, or like a competing business. And so it's just something that hadn't occurred to me. And I kind of see it as like, we need to say, like, this is unacceptable to whoever is writing these leases. So that's just a comment. But my question is, I'm hoping someone can remind me the suggestions for how to be diligent about searching for contractors and avoiding fraud. Because I know it's been a Lahaina conversation, and it's coming up again now for some folks that are trying to navigate post-Kona Low. And so I'm just hoping someone can remind me so that I can pass that along to someone who asked me.
That's a great reminder to be mindful of things that can bring fraud to your door. I really appreciate that. Our prosecuting attorney, Andy Martin, was here like last year sometime, did a fabulous job talking about what to look out for, not to be taken advantage of, and those cautions. We're happy to bring him back. We're happy to raise all that information he brought before to the forefront on recovers.org and our own communication channels. So absolutely, as everything progresses and money gets into the pipeline and people are making big decisions, please be mindful of fraud and your contract work. At the bare bone, that's it. And then here's Erin to add the exclamation point.
I just wanted to add, we do have the resources on Maui Recovers, but staff, how about with our weekly update at the end on Friday? We put links. If you folks are signed up on Maui Recovers to receive notifications, we'll put a link to the resources that are on Maui Recovers regarding fraud. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, I saw, yes, Morris, and I know Kiko has been waiting as well.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, aloha.
You know, my motto after the fire, life is tough, but I am tougher. But not anymore. I have a lot of challenges. All I want is to build my home. So, I have so much challenges, fraud from the contractor, but I'm still here. So, I'm sorry, I'm just so emotional, but I need to voice out. So finally, I do it by owner's builder. I'm so thankful, the 4-Leaf, I give them a big hands because every time I call them, they're there right away to do the inspection. Thank you, 4-Leaf. So we keep moving, but my issues is my insurance. It seems that they will not give me money. So is there anybody can help me for the insurance? Because they have so much excuses. It's my days, it's a waste of my time. And this morning I called them, okay, I'm gonna talk to my manager. My manager will call you within 24 hours. So what time now? I'm always checking my phone, but nobody called me. So if someone can help me to release my funds, because my owner builder, they start working. I'm so lucky that someone helped me. Even though I don't have enough money, we are underinsured. I go to this organization, I have my money put on the side. The SBA loan, I was approved. But when I go to this organization, they said, you don't need SBA money. We have the money. So I canceled my SBA loan, and then they told me, okay, you're approved for this certain amount, but we're gonna put your land in a land trust. I said, I'm okay with that, but I need more information about the land trust. I waited for a month, nobody called me. And then when I called my SBA, it's closed already.
Okay, I'm going to help you with the insurance one. The state has a state insurance commissioner. He came to Lahaina before, but the position changed out. So in the state directory, you can look for the state insurance commissioner's number. That's the office that the complaints go to, specific to that, because they deal with that industry. So the county cannot, unfortunately, we don't have any jurisdiction, but the state insurance commissioner has that ability to make contact on your behalf. Okay, so,
but I cannot wait for this
Sure.
another week, another month.
sure.
I need to give money to the people that working my. Thank you.
So if there's an insurance policy, that's where you go. If it's an insurance claim that went to the lawsuit, then it should have been with the attorneys. Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, Koa, yeah, okay, you holding it? Your question, go ahead.
Okay, this is for John. It's about Ho'okumuho and its need to try to keep Lahaina people in Lahaina, especially about the first-time homeowners. With the amount of homeowners that you guys are going to be helping, first-time homeowners, and the amount of houses, it's going to definitely be a buyer's market, not a, a seller's market, not a buyer's market, because there's not going to have enough houses. So, actually, since I've been a coach so long, I'll help you with the answer. The answer is, that's a great idea. We're already talking about it. We just have to discuss it a little more, and we'll try to see how we can make it work. That's your answer. As a coach, I'm just giving you the answer.
I'm going to hire you, Keiko.
Here's the plan. The plan is to, I know that Kamehameha Schools is helping with the Kamehameha Third School. They want to build a community around it. So use the monies, the $600,000 that they're getting, to help build a house. Get on a table, get with Kamehameha Schools, with the Lahaina Land Trust, with Hawaii Community Lending, to see how this would work. I know the county got land south of Kuia, above the school area, the rec center area. So that whole area, we would be able to put local Lahaina families back in a community, a new community around the school, that they'll return home, and they'll have to stay there. They don't have to sell. It's going to be legacy land. It's not going to be generational wealth where they can sell it later. It's always going to be for Lahaina people to live there. And that might work better because now we have a bunch of Lahaina people competing with each other to find houses that are not there. And those houses that are there is just going to go up and up and up as people try to outbid each other to get that house.
Okay. Thank you, Keiko. We are thinking outside the box when it comes to the HUD funds. We've already done that with the reimbursement program was one of those. The first-time homebuyer program was one of those. We're really careful not to do too many first-time homebuyer programs, so that's like a $90 million pot. And you're right, if we went too much further on that, everybody'd be competing for that same house, and it's a little bit of that is happening now, so we're really careful not to saturate that particular program. We think we got it just about right in terms of stock overall, but we know that there's additional need that goes far beyond that program. So we are talking about all these different ways to do creative housing in and around Lahaina, and one of them that you just mentioned is part of this. So thank you for that comment. I mean, we're going to talk more about that in the future. The school was the first tip of the spear, so to speak, in terms of building a community around that area. And now that we know that that's been funded and we know where it's going to be, there's a whole lot more discussion coming on that particular topic. So thank you for getting out ahead of it with us. It's going to take some time. I don't want to just oh, this is just going to magically happen. That's going to take some time. But we're committed to using these funds the best way that we can to help Lahaina recovery. Thank you.
Great. We've been at it for a while, so we're going to take one more question so that folks have a chance to go to the Parks boards, talk story with folks. Oh, okay. You sure? Can? No? Okay. You sure? Okay. All right. With that, we are going to give our aloha to you tonight. Congratulations again to all the graduating seniors and the families who survived it. We wish you well, and we'll see you in July. Please look out for the announcements for the July 1st community blessing of the Lahaina rail and walk path area right on Front Street. Thank you all very much. Good night, drive safe, mahalo, and aloha.